All right, last game we're going to talk about is Oh My Gods.
Yes.
With an exclamation point.
Oh, yes. And it's Timothy Blank by Gameworthy Labs.
So Tim is a really cool guy. I'm going to put a caveat out there. I talk to him all the time. He does some other stuff. We may try to get him on the show at some point. But I will be unbiased because I always try to point out the flaws in games and the good stuff. So here we go.
All right.
Basically, Oh My Gods is a game where I think there's like 20 or 21 cards. I think there's 21 cards. Yeah, I believe so. 20 and then Zeus. Something like that. Whatever. There's a deck of cards.
Sure.
Anyway, so you got a bunch of gods, and it's kind of Clue-like in its deduction. So everybody gets a hand of cards based on the number of players, and then Olympus is in the middle of the table, and you put cards face down there at random. Backtracking, before you do this, you take Zeus out, and you take one of the gods at random and put it off to the side and put Zeus's lightning bolt token on it. Essentially, that god has stolen Zeus's lightning bolt. He's pretty mad, and he wants to find out who did it. And then you're trying to deduce who you think stole it. And so Zeus gets shuffled back into the rest of the cards, and you deal them out, put the ones in Olympus, and you're ready to begin. And on your turn, you only have 3 things you can do. The first thing is you seek like answers or whatever. And so you ask the person to your left, much like Clue, and you're like, every god has 2 different ability traits or whatever.
Right.
The first one is an element like earth, wind, fire, water. And the second one is like power and spirit. And I think there's like 5 of those. Mm-hmm. And you ask somebody, you're like, Matt, show me somebody with heart or spirit or whatever. And then if Matt has somebody, he shows me it face down. I can record it on this little portfolio that I have with a little, you can do a dry erase, or it comes with a pad that you can use pencils with, and you can put X's or whatever. There's a lot of room that you can write all kinds of details on that. And then, but if Matt didn't have that, it goes to the next person, so on and so forth. And then that's pretty much that part of the game. The second thing you can do is make an accusation, but just like Clue, if you make an accusation, I hate to compare this to Clue, and I'll get to that point, but it is very similar. If you make an accusation and you're wrong, so you say, I bet this god did it, like Triton. You take the card, you look at it. If you're wrong, you put it face back down, you're out of the game. All your gods, I believe, go face up at that point or something. Otherwise, if you're right, you win, you throw it in people's faces. So that's optional. The last thing you can do on your turn is play a god from your hand, face up on the table, and apply its effect. All of them have a different effect, such as a lot of them, Zeus kind of moves around, and a lot of them will say the player with Zeus must show you like a god at random or 2 gods at random, or, must, I don't know, give you a card and then draw one from Olympus, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Other abilities might be like look at some of the cards in Olympus and shuffle them, or take 2 and look at one, stuff like, or keep one and put one back. There's all kinds of different abilities. Everybody has different ones. There's even like a counter spell that has a little lightning bolt that allows you to do it out of your turn. So if somebody plays a god that you don't agree with, you can be like, okay, I'm counter spelling it basically. But you do reveal information to stop that ability. But one of the abilities, for instance, is to look at all the cards in Olympus. So I get to look at maybe 4 or 5 cards. That's a lot of information.
Right.
But if the player has that other card, they can be like, okay, I'm stopping this. That is one thing that I will say that wasn't it's not that big of a deal except for lower player counts maybe. But unless somebody is willing to or knows to stop the more powerful cards, because there are a couple that are way more powerful in the beginning of the game, specifically to Olympus, or the one card that allows you to look it up to like 4 cards in somebody's hand.
Yes.
Those cards are super powerful. And if somebody else doesn't have the counter spell and it's in Olympus, that's a huge edge up on the game. Past that, I thought it was really fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun.
Right.
I've played it many times. I've played the prototype a whole bunch before the Kickstarter. And full disclosure, Tim did send me the game prototype and I played it a bunch. Can't review prototypes on the Dice Tower, but I played it a bunch and came up with an opinion and gave it to him. He put it on the Kickstarter page when he launched it. Thankfully, it was successful, and then he sent me a production copy of the game, which I'm going to do a review of. So, be that as it may, I still think the game is good. I'm unbiased because what's the point in doing this if you're going to be biased and
right.
always praise people that give you free stuff, right? It's a good game. The art's okay.
Yeah.
It's functional. He did the game design and the art, which I
Yes.
thought was really cool. But I mean, no offense to him. The art's good. It does its job.
Right.
But it's not going to like maybe win awards or anything. But other than that, like a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think?
Pretty much what you said. I mean, it
helps to write stuff down though.
Yeah. The game was good. It does. If you want a quick deduction game, if I want a long deduction game, I'll play Alchemist or something. But if I want to get a little quick deduction fill in, then I'll bring this game out. I see what you're saying about some of the cards being a little powerful at the beginning. And with it kind of makes you wonder if there's only one counter.
I think there's only one, yeah.
So I kind of wonder about that because, but I guess if you started putting multiples, I don't know what would happen then.
Yeah, I think a lot of the charm of the game is every card has its own ability. There are a couple that are kind of similar, but they have like different, like one's like, I don't know, do this and do that, but then do this at random, where the other one's like, do these two things, but not at random.
Right.
It's like, it's kind of like the whole, you got so many points to spend on an ability and you design that ability around those points. And so to randomize something is less points. That's getting way too mathy. But
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All the abilities are different. They all do something really cool. But at the same time, some of them are more powerful based on the stuff that's in play already.
Yeah.
So if one of those cards were in Olympus, where it allows you to look at all the cards in Olympus, but you play it near the end of the game, once people have drawn the cards from Olympus,
there's one or two left.
It might be powerful for you because maybe that's that one card you need to help deduce, but that's most of the game anyway. Every time you deduce something, it gives you way more information. So, but to be able to pick up 5 cards, immediately know what they are, if there's no other way for somebody to counter it, or maybe they have it in their hand and you haven't played it that much, or they're like, you know what, whatever, it's worth it to counterspell it because you stop that player from knowing 5 things.
Right.
You do give away one thing of your own, but I think you get to draw one from Olympus at that point. I don't know. So it's really just 2 special abilities I have a problem with, but it's not the end of the world. I think it's more of a problem with less players.
Yeah.
Because I played it with a couple of people. One was Jake and Eric, or I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but we played it and it was 4 of us. No, it was 3 of us. I'm just going to make stuff up now. Now it was 3 of us, and he basically found out who the thief was after two turns.
Whoa.
On his 3rd turn, he did it. Perfect setup, basically, because like all the spirit guys, I think, were in the middle, except for one, which was the one that stole it.
Gotcha.
So he was like, play a card, look at Olympus. Oh, next turn. Does anybody have this one specific god?
Yeah.
And I don't know why he didn't guess at that turn. Oh, I think the first turn he played a card to steal a card, and he stole the card he started this combo with, is
Gotcha.
what it was. And then, so game over. I don't think it's going to happen all the time. And like I said, I've played it a dozen or more times before that, and it never happened. But I do see the strength of a couple of the cards.
Yeah. And I think some of the intrigue to the game is the fact that you can use a special power, but you are offering up information to everybody.
Exactly.
So it's up to you to decide.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is I think that's what makes the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it right there. It's up to you to, other than that, it's up to everybody guessing and trying to deduce. But ultimately, it's up to you, like learning when to take advantage of a power and also letting everyone else gain the knowledge of what it is.
You need that. You got to calculate your net gain from, I'm going to give 1, but I need to gain 2 or more.
Right.
Up on other players, so you're always above them, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really cool. I like the fact, I mean, it's kind of like this love letter thing. Other than like the portfolios and the pad, you could probably put this in a like a love letter pouch.
Right.
I mean, it's something small. I mean, the box is small anyway, but I mean, what I mean by that is it's very travelable.
Yes.
But I think that, and I always say the Clue thing, but literally, if you know somebody who likes Clue, this is a super, and they're not into the hobby, or even if they are, this is something really good to show them.
Yes.
So anyway, that's Oh My Gods.
Yep.
Good game. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.